without like kind of a backstory. My backstory on how it is that I found myself to be harassed by millions of people on the internet on a daily basis. It's important for context. It's important so that there's going to be many people that are new to this story. So this is just going to be my backstory. I got some time now. So I'll just kind of tell you about myself and how I got to become one of the most harassed people on the internet. Essentially, I was born in Idaho. I was born, I have a great family. I had a great childhood. I was raised on 100 acres. My grandma had 100 acres. And I spent my time exploring and playing outside, raising frogs, pretending sticks were guns, climbing trees, having competitions with my brothers on who could climb the tree the highest and jump out the highest. I mean, one time I literally thought I was going to break my heel. A pretty active childhood, outdoors. And then when I was about 10 or 11, we moved to Hermiston, Oregon, small town in eastern Oregon. I struggled in school. I was not an academic. And what saved me from staying in my small town and just living the simple life, which is much better than a complicated life, obviously, was running. I discovered a love for running. It is changed my life. And also, I knew from a young age that I liked helping people. I would enjoy helping my friends work through their problems, their relationship problems, whatever they had. And I knew from a very young age, from about 13 years old, for some reason I knew I wanted to be a chiropractor. I couldn't explain it. I didn't know why. I'd never seen a chiropractor work. It just called to me, essentially. So in high school, I joined the cross-country team. I was very good. And that's actually what got me to college. But the problem is I went to a primarily immigrant high school, about 60% Latino, so I grew up as a minority, as a Caucasian male. And the way the school funding system works is the school is funded by the state based on graduation rate. Well, we had about a 60% dropout rate from freshman year to graduation because the Latinos, who were my very good friends, a lot of them would drop out of school to help their families on the farm. So I was smart enough to know that all I had to do was show up to class and they would pass me, regardless if I failed the class. So, which sometimes intelligence is not a good thing, because it can make you lazy when you're a kid. But anyways, so I actually didn't get into college. My SAT scores were terrible. I read at about a 6th grade level, and but like my high school coach was a very good mentor to me and taught me, like, it was kind of like a second dad. Taught me, he was an extremely morally and ethical sound person, and he really motivated me to be the best version of myself. So I thought I'd go to school and become a high school cross-country coach, even though in the back of my mind the whole time I was like, I want to be a chiropractor. But I didn't think I was smart enough, honestly, because I couldn't talk intelligently. I had a speech impediment. I couldn't say words with S. I still struggle with the words like specificity and like anything with an S, Mississippi, that kind of stuff. And speaking of Mississippi, that's where Summer's from. And all of you guys harassing Summer doesn't even know Korra. She doesn't care. She doesn't want to be involved. You guys just need to leave her alone. She's supporting me. She's supporting me through all of this. Leave her alone. She's innocent in this. Like, just leave her alone. So, anyways, my college coach pulled, I was about a 16 flat 5K runner and about a 420 miler in high school. So, which is back in those days, was very respectable. So my college coach actually pulled strings to get me into college, even though I technically didn't qualify. After my freshman year, I was like, I can't do this academically, and I was going to drop out. But one of my best friends and roommate at the time, the Benson Kick, as we called him, because he beat me in a race in high school, he convinced me to stay. And then somewhere around 19 years old, something just snapped in me, and I was like, I think my prefrontal cortex finally connected to the rest of my brain, which happens with guys sometimes. I just was like, I can do better than this. So I started reading. I mean, every day from that day to this day, I've been trying to better myself academically. I went from reading at a 6th grade level my freshman year of college to reading at a college level within 2 years. And I started excelling. I started getting A's. I started getting great grades. And then I went to chiropractic school. And then I decided I'm going to be a chiropractor like I always wanted to. So that's what I did. Once I got to chiropractic school, my college sweetheart actually went with me, and she was having hip injuries. And I took her to all the best sports chiropractors that I could find, guys that worked with the Olympics. And none of them could fix her. And then I took her to my mentor, who became my mentor, and he fixed her in one visit. And I had to rethink the entire profession that I was coming in. So he fixed her in one visit. It was a disc issue, not a hip issue, which most things are disc issues. And that started my path to, I took out as much student loans as I could, and I traveled everywhere all over the country to learn from every expert I could. And during my time in chiropractic school, I started a club called Rehab to Performance, which was a club that was meant to get chiropractors to start thinking about exercise, start thinking about sports performance, that kind of stuff, and not be so reliant on the adjustment. And it took off. It took off into every chiropractic school in the country. I was the leader of a cult, essentially. A cult in a good way. A cult that was trying to be the highest versions of themselves, provide the highest quality of care. And right after I graduated, I started touring the country and teaching seminars, because I became very good at mixing and matching different approaches. In my first year outside of chiropractic school, I co-invented with my mentor, Philip Snell, a cutaneous nerve entrapment release. And I presented that for national conferences. I represented the naturopathic profession of Oregon, and I was very much out there educating other doctors. I was teaching seminars. I was like a traveling nerdy rock star. So, no, I didn't have social media fame, which is what everybody cares about this way, but I gained a lot of respect in my profession, and which I still have. And through all those seminars and teaching other doctors and showing what I could do, I was recruited to China. And that's how I got to China. So I'm absolutely dedicated to my profession. I love my profession. I love helping people. I love fixing complex issues. I love learning. And why am I talking about this? This is what I love. I love helping people. I love having somebody come in who's lost complete hope, who's in chronic pain, and giving them hope and helping them get their life back, because pain can overtake your life, whether it's emotional pain, like what I've been experiencing on social media the last 2 years, which has taken over my life and put my entire life on hold, or if it's physical pain like low back pain or knee pain that stops you from doing the things you love. So essentially what I love to do is to help people do what they love to do, which that's what brings me satisfaction in life. So why am I telling you all this? Because that's exactly what's been trying to be destroyed. That's actively what this group of toxic women on the internet are trying to do. They've reported me to my board, pretending to be patients that I sexually molested. Yeah. So they reported my board, these Nigerians, pretending to be patients that I sexually molested. So I was under investigation by my board for sexual molestation charges. I won, because how could they possibly be my patients if they're in Nigeria? But that's where it went. So that's kind of my backstory and who I am. Obviously, the most important things in my life are my profession, which I love, which is constantly trying to be taken away from me by these people. They're making up stories. They're doing anything they can. They negatively review my business at my ex-wife's instructions publicly. And the other thing that I love is my children, which, again, they make accusations of sexual molestation online. They make accusations that I beat my daughters. They make accusations that I'm a terrible father. So everything that I love, they're trying to take from me.